Please record. I don't know how to record. This is the first time I'm using Teams. Also, my system may not support that recording load because of low RAM.
Okay, no problem. I started.
So, if anybody wants, they can go ahead and record. I don't know. Get back to this. Okay. Let's get back to the shared screen. You are seeing the PowerPoint now, right?
Yes.
Okay. I started the PowerPoint show. You are hopefully you are able to see this. Okay. Okay. Shall we start or wait for your colleagues to join? Please confirm group leaders, boys and girls.
Doctor, we can start if you want.
Okay. So let us start with this session now. That is physiology of vision. Actually, this was supposed to be the first topic in special senses in CNS. But I guess for boys, we covered lecture number 18, 19, that is physiology of hearing earlier this week in the class. So, anyways, let me explain the term spatial senses here. These are part of sensory system in the body which bring information to the brain about changes in the environment, just like general sensation. But because the receptors or some other mechanism are located in spatial structures, therefore these are grouped together as spatial senses. So in spatial senses, we'll be discussing vision today. For some, we have finished hearing that we'll cover for the other remaining ones in this week. And then we have lecture on taste and smell. So smell one will have a lecture which is a very, very short lecture. And taste is a self-directed learning lecture. I think I have shared the resources and everything, learning objectives on the Moodle. Okay. So let us start with this lecture. This is a big lecture actually, physiology of vision. We'll be covering this in 3 sessions, which are all combined today for online thing. Okay. So this is lecture number 15, 16, 17. Okay. So in general, these are the learning objectives for all the 3 lectures, lecture number 15, 16, and 17. Okay. So basically, what we are going to discuss in these 3 lectures is how a person is able to visualize his environment, how he is able to see environment. Are you able to hear everybody?
Yes.
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 Okay. Just in between, just keep saying yes or no or something so that I know that you are able to hear, because I'm not having any idea. I can't see the participant or anything here. Okay. So, see, I lost my PowerPoint now. Okay, here it is. Okay. So let us start. In simple terms, what we are going to discuss is how we are able to see anything. Okay. So basically, seeing requires a stimulus. We detect a stimulus that is called as light. Okay. So seeing or visualization is nothing but the ability to detect light. Okay. The major steps which are occurring is light is transmitted or direction changed so that it focuses on the retina. This is done in the eye. So this is our first part, transmission and refraction. So light from the environment, it is collected through the eye, through the lens of the eye, and directed towards the receptors which are in the back side of the eye on retina. Okay. So this is the first step, transmission and refraction. Once the light reaches the retina, the receptors are converting this light energy into action potential. This is called as transduction. Okay. Once these action potentials are generated in the receptors of the retina, they will be processed in the retina itself. The action potential will be sent from one neuron to another to another. So there are multiple layers in the retina of neurons in the retina. So they will do some sort of processing. This is called as refinement. Okay. Once this processing is done in the retina, the information is carried through optic tract. This is called as conduction. It will be carried to brain where further processing will occur. So these are the major 5 steps which are involved, which make us see anything, which make us detect light in the atmosphere. Okay. So these are the major steps we'll be discussing henceforth. So our first question is, what is light? So basically, light is a form of energy, electromagnetic energy. Okay. Now, this electromagnetic energy is represented in waveform. It may be particle, as they say, like photons, but it is represented in waveform. Therefore, it has got frequency and wavelength. So, in general, our eyes have receptors to detect wavelength between 400 to 700. Okay, so you see these are different wavelength here. Are you able to see the arrow I am moving? Cursor?
Doctor, excuse me.
Yes, please.
Could you accept the students in the waiting list?
Oh, okay. I was not because I don't know. I was not able to see this. Let me say. I should not need you. Nobody should need permission. They should automatically come. Actually. Okay.
Because they're saying there's a waiting list. So
Okay, some people have no idea or something. Only one student I can see. Anybody else? I have given permission.
Hello, doctor. I'm in. Thank you.
Good. Anybody else waiting? Please. I think nobody is waiting. I'm seeing the participant list now. Nobody is waiting, I think. So just if anybody is waiting, please stop me and tell me. It should not happen actually because the setting I made was allow everybody. But I don't know why it is still not allowing somebody. Anyway, so hopefully you are able to hear and were you able to see the cursor, my arrow, all of you?
Yes, yes.
The movement of the cursor you are able to see? I am moving the arrow right now. Are you able to see?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. Because this is important for us to understand. Okay. Okay. If you see, this is the different type of electromagnetic waves based on frequency. So gamma frequency, X-rays, ultra, infra, radar, television, AC, all these are AC and alternating current circuits actually here, not air conditioner. So the point is these are different wavelengths. Electromagnetic wave having certain wavelength are called as gamma rays, some certain are called as X-rays, some are called as ultra waves because of the different wavelength. There is a very small band between 400 and 700 nanometers. This band is called as visible light because our receptors can detect this frequency from 400 to 700. Okay. Okay. So
Yes.
this light is detected, this frequency electromagnetic waves are detected by our receptors. Now our receptors are kept in this spatial structure, we call it as eye. So this is the cut section of the eye. You can see the receptors are somewhere here. Let me get proper pointer now. Okay. So our receptors are somewhere here. Okay. This part of the eye is called as retina. So receptors are there. Yani we need the eye need to make arrangement that light from atmosphere should enter and direct towards the receptor. It should not enter and go somewhere else. It should go towards the receptor only. So some arrangement has to be made. So that arrangement is done by That arrangement is done by the front part of the eye, which we will be discussing now. Okay. So in general, what happens is light reflected, sunlight reflected, or electric light reflected from any object is entering the eye. The lens will make it upside down, and you will see that the impression on the retina is upside down here. The object, the tree is straight here, and it is reflected on the retina upside down. This is the normal thing. Any object is reversed on retina. Okay. So this is the first thing you need to remember. Let us go ahead and see the different parts of the eye. These are the pictures, and you can see there are many parts of the eye. Let's make it a bit simpler. Okay. So basically, what we see is eye is a soft ball structure, spherical structure. You can see here. Okay, covered by a very tough membrane. This tough membrane is called as sclera. Have you covered this in your anatomy?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Okay. So we'll not go into details of this. We'll move ahead a bit faster now. Okay, since you have covered everything here. Okay. So the outermost layer is sclera. This is the fibrous part. It is a very tough structure. And eye in general is filled with some substances. Okay. Now, with the help of this lens, we can divide. You can see the lens. You have covered this in anatomy now, isn't it? So this the outermost is sclera and cornea. Now this lens will divide the eye into anterior part and posterior part. Okay. So we have a posterior segment which is filled with jelly-like substance, and we have anterior segment which is filled with water-like substance. Okay. So this is how the eye is divided. In the anterior segment, in front of the lens, it is further divided into two compartments with the help of iris. Okay, iris and pupil. So we have posterior and anterior compartment further. Okay. So I'll show you the remaining slides so that it becomes more clear instead of picture. Okay. So this is how theoretically things are there. The eye is a fluid-filled sphere, and it has got these three layers. The outermost is fibrous tunic, which is made up of sclera cornea. The middle one is vascular layer, made up of choroid, ciliary body, and iris. The innermost is retina. Okay, the sensory tunic. So these are the three layers. Let us go ahead and see the slides for them. The outermost layer, as I said, this is the white structure. If you see, this is sclera. Sclera continue in front to become very transparent structure called as cornea. So this whole transparent part of the sclera is called as cornea. So thin transparent continuation is cornea. Okay, these are the two major structure. Under the sclera, under this white structure, there is this layer of capillary network. Okay, this is called as choroid. Okay, where sclera ends and cornea begins, at that junction, you will see that instead of choroid, there is a smooth muscle bundle that is called as ciliary body. It is a smooth muscle surrounding the cornea. Okay. And from the ciliary body, there is a diaphragm-like muscle extending towards the center. This is the diaphragm-like muscle extending towards the center. This is called as iris, and it has got a gap in between. This opening or gap, which is looks black here, is called as pupil. So this is the basic anatomy of the middle layer. It consists of choroid, ciliary body, iris, and pupil. Let us go ahead now. This is the more close-up part of the anterior part of the eye. You can see here. This is our ciliary body, whole structure here. Ciliary body with ciliary muscles. And then we have this iris-like, diaphragm-like iris. Okay. And the opening in the center is called as pupil. So these are the sensors. So our lens is dividing the eye into anterior segment and posterior segment. The anterior segment is further divided by the iris into anterior chamber and posterior chamber. So this is our anterior chamber and this is our posterior chamber. Okay. So basically they are filled with water-like substances with aqueous humor. Okay. The thing is where this water is coming. You can see the arrow here. The ciliary body has got some network of capillaries which will continuously filter water. They will release water. This will maintain the shape of cornea actually. The cornea has to be curve shaped. So water is continuously released into the eye. It will go through pupil, go into the anterior chamber and will be absorbed by veins here. This network of veins in the anterior chamber is called as canal of Schlemm. Okay. Forget about the name. What you have to remember is fluid is secreted by the ciliary body veins and capillaries and it through the pupil into the anterior chamber and it is absorbed back. Like this circulation occurs continuously, this will keep the fluid very transparent. Any inflammatory substance or anything will be taken back. This is how the clean atmosphere inside the anterior chamber is maintained. Okay. Second thing is this will also maintain the shape of the cornea, which is very important for light to bend or go through the pupil. If the shape is not maintained, the light will not go through pupil. Okay, so you have to maintain this curve shape of the cornea also. Okay. Now, regarding this, there is one clinical condition. Yes, please.
Yes, so the shape is maintained by the water secretions as well.
Sorry, loudly, please.
Yes, so the shape is maintained by the water secretion as well.
Yes, as well. The posterior part of the eye shape was maintained by gel. I'll come to posterior part later on. But for the anterior part, this will also maintain shape. If fluid is lost, the cornea will collapse. Cornea is very thin actually. So it will collapse. It will not remain curved like this. It will collapse like this. Okay? Clear?
Oh, yes, thank you.
So this is very important for us to remember because of one condition that is called as glaucoma. Have you heard of glaucoma, all of you?
Yes.
So this is
Yes.
a clinical condition. Instead of me asking you, let me tell you, glaucoma is a clinical condition where the pressure inside the eye is more than normal. Okay? Clear? So the pressure of this fluid in the eye is more than normal. So that is glaucoma. More pressure in the eye will compress the nerve. We'll see later on in the picture. But just remember for now, glaucoma causes compression of optic nerve that will disturb our vision, that will decrease the vision, that will cause blindness. Okay? So glaucoma is a condition where pressure inside the eye is increased. Now this is one of the mechanism how pressure is increased. Either the secretion is more than absorption. Okay? Secretion is more than absorption, then this will cause more pressure in the eye. So this will cause glaucoma. Or more commonly, in some people, the eye is a bit long. So the angle which is here like this angle. Are you able to see the angle? The angle made by the iris and the cornea. This angle if you see, this is decreased. Okay. In some people, this angle is decreased that causes closure of this vein. So now the fluid will not be absorbed, only secreted into the anterior chamber that will increase the pressure here. This is called as angle closure glaucoma. Clear? Acute angle glaucoma or
Yes.
angle closure glaucoma. Remember this. This circulation is very important for this condition. You have to maintain this circulation. If there is any infection in the eye, that will also cause deposition of solid substances in the vein that will block the reabsorption. That will also cause glaucoma. So this simple circulation maintains normal pressure in the eye and normal shape of the cornea also. Okay. So this is the importance here. Let us go ahead now. Now we come to the diaphragm or iris. Now you can see iris is made up of two muscles. You might have covered this in anatomy. Just remember for now, the two types of muscles which make the iris are called as dilators, pupillary dilator and pupillary constrictors. So if you see this radial muscle here, some fibers are radial. So when they contract, they make the pupil large. Therefore, they are called as dilators. You have another set of muscle which is circular surrounding the pupil. So when they contract, they make the pupil small. So therefore, they are called as constrictor muscles. So for eye, inside the iris, there are two types of smooth muscle. So some are dilators and some are constrictor. That will change the size of pupil. This is required to allow certain amount of light in different condition. So when you are in very bright light area, you want less amount of light to go in, otherwise everything will not be very clear. So when you want less amount of light to increase, you constrict the eye when there is lot of light. In darkness, you want more amount of light to come in so that you are able to see clearly. This pupillary dilation will occur. So this is our constriction and dilation. Are we clear till this part?
Yes, clear, doctor.
Clear, doctor.
Okay. Okay. Now we come to the first physiological function, that is reflex. Okay. So here we are discussing light reflex. You know, in the hospital, doctors shine light in the eye. Basically, they are eliciting or stimulating light in the eye, that is causing constriction of the pupil. So whenever light is shining in the and stimulation occurs, that causes constriction of the pupil. This is the light reflex. Okay. Now light reflexes are of two types: direct and consensual. So direct, yani when you shine light in one eye, that same eye causes constriction. That is direct light reflex. So where what happens is when you shine light here, this eye will cause constriction. This is direct light reflex. Also, the opposite eye will not remain normal. It will also constrict. Even though the eye light is shining here, this eye will also constrict. This is called as consensual light reflex. Okay. So whenever you shine light in the patient eye, in one eye, both eyes will become constricted. The pupil will become small. Okay. Uh, the eye in which the light was shining, that will be direct light reflex, and the opposite eye will be consensual light reflex. This is the basic which you have to remember. Now, why this occur is, whenever suppose this is eye, we are shining light with the torch. This information is carried by optic nerve. It will go to the brainstem nuclei, pretectal nuclei. Okay. From there, it will be going to both the side. From pretectal nuclei, it will go to the both the side. Edinger-Westphal nuclei both the side, and ciliary ganglia. You know, these are peripheral ganglia, parasympathetic system. Okay. And from there, the constrictor of the eye will contract. So the point is, this simple shining of light in the eye will tell doctors whether there is problem in the eye, because the eyes are not responding, both eyes are not responding. Am I right or wrong? If there is any problem in the eye, both eyes will not respond, isn't it? Because there is no information going to the pretectal nucleus. Okay. Suppose you shine light, there is response here, direct light reflex is there, and no consensual light reflex. So what it means? When you shine light, the sensory system is carrying the information to the pretectal nucleus, and motor system on the same side is working. But light is not going this side. The information is not going this side. So in this patient where there is damage in the brainstem, there will be direct light reflex and absence of indirect light reflex or consensual reflex. Please remember this. Okay. This is the importance of knowing direct and consensual light reflex. You are able to identify whether the damage is in optic nerve or in brainstem or in the further pathway. Okay.
Yes, clear.
Okay. Now we come to the innermost part, that is retina. Now one more thing actually in the middle part of which you need to know is this choroid. Choroid is basically this red line in the eye. It is capillary network. So blood supply to the outer layer and the inner layer of the eye occurs through this capillary network. Second thing which you have to remember is this capillary network is kind of covered with a pigment, black colored pigment, so that there is no reflection of light occurring inside the eye. Okay, it is covered with a black pigment which is called as melanin. Okay, so melanin pigment is covering the choroid plexus. Third thing which you have to remember is this melanin is having lot of vitamin A. This is the reserve for vitamin A. Why vitamin A is needed or where it is needed, we will see later on. Just remember for now, this choroid plexus is covered with a pigment called as melanin, and melanin has got lot of vitamin A also stored there. Okay. This is all you have to remember. Let us go ahead into the innermost area now, the retina. So this is the innermost layer of the eye, this yellow colored one. This is called as retina. It consists of basically the receptors and other neural cells. So what is retina made up of? Receptors and other neural cells.
Neuron cells.
Right. So please remember these two things. Retina is made up of receptors, the receptors for light, and other neural cells. The receptors for light are called as photoreceptor, and we have two examples, rods and cones. So receptors for light are called as photoreceptors, and they are rods and cones. Okay. Same thing which I explained to you earlier is shown here. The anterior cavity which is filled with aqueous humor. You can see the circulation, and clinical importance is glaucoma. If there is blockage of circulation due to any reason, maybe in some people this is genetic, the eyeball is slightly longer than normal. Okay. So this will cause blockage of this channel in those people, and they have higher tendency of glaucoma. So therefore glaucoma can be familial. Okay. So genetically, if you have elongated eyeball, this will cause less angle here. So this will cause closure of the capillaries, and this will cause glaucoma. Okay. Or due to a infection of the iris or inside of the eye, that will also deposit inflammatory substances here, solid substances here. They will block the capillaries, and that may also cause glaucoma. That is secondary glaucoma. Okay. Okay. Next thing, some important anatomy thing. We have covered the iris part, isn't it? Iris, then the opening in the iris is called as pupil. Then we have iris, and then we have ciliary body, which is nothing but a ciliary muscle. Okay. Now, things which you need to remember is ciliary body or ciliary has got ciliary muscle, and it has got ligaments. These are called as suspensory ligament, and they are suspending or hanging a structure called as lens behind the iris. Okay. Behind the iris, there is a lens-like structure which is hanging. So our lens is hanging with the help of suspensory ligament, which are attached to the ciliary muscles in the ciliary body. Okay. Okay. This lens is dividing the eye into two segments, the anterior, which we have discussed, which is filled with water, and the posterior, which is jelly-like substance. This jelly-like substance is called as vitreous humor. It has got no major job except for maintaining the shape of the eyeball. So majority of the eye is filled with jelly-like substance. Its job is to maintain the shape. Okay. So this posterior chamber shape is maintained by the vitreous humor. Next important function of this vitreous humor is it needs to be maintained transparent. Okay. So any solid substances which are coming will be deposited in the periphery and will be absorbed. Also, any nutrients from the capillary will go here and will supply the posterior walls of the lens. Our lens is not having any blood supply. Lens is not having any blood supply. It lens is basically a the bag filled with proteinaceous fluid. What is the meaning of proteinaceous fluid? What do you understand by proteinaceous fluid?
Protein?
Yes, protein like fluid. Simple. Are we clear? Protein like fluid made up of protein molecules. That is the meaning. Are we clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you give me any example where the protein is very transparent? Any example you have seen in your life where the protein is not colored or not dark, but it is transparent? Any protein you remember? What is the white part of the egg? Raw egg, uncooked egg.
Yeah, it's white color.
It is transparent, isn't it? It is not having any color. Am I right or wrong? And it is fully
Yes.
made up of protein. So our lens is made up of same protein. What happens to that white of the egg when heat is given?
It becomes unclear.
It turns to white.
It doesn't remain transparent, right? It becomes white, opaque, boiled egg, isn't it?
Yes.
The white part becomes opaque. It doesn't remain transparent. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Yes, you're
This
right.
is exactly what happens in the lens also. If you expose the lens protein to ultraviolet light or heat for lifelong, it will become opaque. This is called as cataract. Cataract is nothing but lens becoming opaque. Am I right?
Yes.
So this is how our cataract occurs because of lifelong exposure of this protein to ultraviolet light and heat. It becomes opaque. Last batch student told me some Arabic name for this white of the eye or cataract. It was abiyat or something. What is it called as? Cataract? Arabic word for cataract?
My beda.
Moya?
Yeah, yeah.
Loudly please, just so that I memorize it.
It's like white water. My beda.
Yes. Moe Baida. Okay. But you got the point here. I remember the meaning and forgot the Arabic word here. Anyway, now you understood how cataract occurs in people, in the eyes. It is nothing but the lens protein which is transparent becoming opaque, non-transparent. Okay, because of heat, lifelong exposure. So that is cataract. So please remember that. That is one thing which you have to remember. Okay. Now we come to the function of the lens here. Please remember this. This is always asked in exam. Okay. The lens is generally transparent and biconvex. This is normal, and it is suspended by the hanging by the suspensory ligament, which are connected to the smooth muscle. Okay. So what happens is when the muscles are relaxed, when the smooth muscles, ciliary muscles are relaxed. Now I'll not say smooth muscle. The proper name is ciliary body muscle. Okay. So when they are relaxed, when the muscles are relaxed, the ligament become tight. Okay. Clear? Any confusion here? When the muscles are relaxed, the ligament become tight. That makes the lens thin. Okay. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Please remember these three words. The muscles, when they become relaxed, ciliary muscle, when they become relaxed, they will make the ligament tight. So the ligament will pull the lens. That will cause lens becoming thin. Okay. This lens change shape is used for distant vision to see objects which are far away, maybe 5 feet, 10 feet away. Okay. Another condition, when the muscles contract, please remember the number one word, contract. That causes ligament to become loose. So when the ligament become loose, they will cause the bag or lens to become round or spherical, yani thick. Okay. So we have muscles contract, ligament loose, and lens become thick. This is used for near vision. Are we clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, whether you understand it or not for your exam, remember the sequence. When ciliary muscles relax, the ligament become tight, lens become thin. Relax, tight and thin. That is used for distant vision. When the muscles contract, ligament relax, lens become thick. Used for near vision. So here we can see the shape of the lens here, and you can see the shape of the lens here, isn't it? Here it is thin and here it is thick. So thin lens is good for seeing distant things. Thick lens is good for seeing very near thing, just like reading. So you want larger lens so that light can bend properly with the help of lens. So that is the job of lens. They will bend the light from the atmosphere towards one particular point on the retina. Okay. So that is the job here. Please remember this slide for your exam. Always asked. Another important thing was light reflex. Okay. So please remember that. Now we come to the bending of light. Now you know in water or anywhere, when you see the pencil looks bent, isn't it? Why? Because light changes direction when it is traveling from one media to another. So whenever light travels from one media, maybe solid, liquid or gas, it is going to another media which is not the original one, then it will bend. This bending of light is called as refraction. Okay? So light from the atmosphere, when it comes into the eye, it comes in contact with cornea, lens and humors, the aqueous humor and vitreous humor. All these three structure cause bending of light. So if the question is the refraction in the eye is caused by, the answer is cornea, lens and vitreous and aqueous humor. Okay. The purpose of bending light in the eye, I don't have any other picture actually here. Okay, here it is. The purpose of bending light is this bending should cause the light to fall on the receptor. It should not fall here. It should not fall here. The light should fall exactly on the receptor. Okay, all light from the atmosphere. Okay, therefore bending is very important. Now I am using layman's term bending. The scientific term is refraction. Please remember this. Are we clear with the concept of refraction now?
Yes.
Okay. The refraction is nothing but bending of light. This bending occurs because whenever light travels from one media to another media, it will always change direction. Bending will always occur. Okay. So in on the eye, the structures which are important for refraction are cornea, lens and humor. All these structures help in focusing the light on one part of retina. That one part is called as fovea centralis. Okay. On the retina, there is one point in the eye that is where all light, we try to focus on this because when light falls here, we have maximum receptors here. So we see very clearly. Right now also if you see, if you observe, you are able to see whole slide, but only one point very clearly because that one point light your eyes are focusing on fovea centralis. That is the only point you will see clearly. The other are blurred. So anywhere if the light falls, the objects will be blurred. But if they fall on fovea centralis, it will be very clear. Okay. So this is the importance of refraction of light. Now, second thing, refraction of light is measured in a unit called as diopters. Okay. You just should know this. Not needed for you to remember. Just remember the unit of for refraction is diopters. How much is that? If you want, you can remember. What you have to remember is these two sentences. In the eye, maximum bending of light takes place at cornea. Okay? The most bending of light or most refraction of light takes place at cornea. But the lens has the ability to change the bending. Okay? Because lens can change shape. Cornea cannot change shape normally. Okay? Lens can change shape. You have seen in this slide, isn't it? So it can become thin, it can become thick. So it is changing the power of refraction. So this changing ability is there with lens only. So our lens is very important because it has got, based on our requirement, it can change the refractive power. Okay. So if you want to look at object which is far away, you will make the lens thin and refraction will decrease and you will be able to see the far away object. If you want to see something very near, as in this slide, you will make the lens thick automatically and that will cause more bending and you will be able to see. So lens has the ability to change refraction. Please remember this. Cornea does not have, even though it is the most powerful refractory structure, it does not have ability to adjust the curve or refractive power. Okay. So this is what happens here. The lens from distant light object, it will relax and the lens will become thin and the object will focus because of the natural bending ability. The light will focus on one point, that is fovea centralis. Okay. When the object is near, the light is not coming parallel actually, it is divergent. Okay. That will cause the light to fall not on fovea centralis but somewhere else. That will make it us see it blurred, not very clear. So what happens is our lens changes its power, it becomes thick, and this divergent light is now, the power has increased, so it is focusing on the focal point and we are able to see. Okay, this is the normal working of the lens. So to see near objects, we increase the curvature of the lens, we make it thick. To see distant object, we make the lens thin. Okay, this is how normal works. This ability to change the power of refraction based on our requirement is done reflexly or automatically. That reflex is called as accommodation reflex. Okay, are we clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is called as accommodation reflex for our exam. Please remember this. Okay. So whenever we are looking at near object, we need to make the lens thick. Okay. And this is done reflexly. Whenever we are looking at the near object, this reflex is activated and we are able to see. This ability is decreased with age. Okay. Almost 100% of the time, persons above 40-45 years of age, they are not able to see near object very clearly. Therefore, they require external support in the form of reading glasses. They are not able to see clearly. Okay. This condition is called as presbyopia. Decreased accommodation reflex ability with age is called as presbyopia. Can you remember this?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Please remember this. Any question, please? Yes. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Okay. Now we come to another thing. when we are looking at a distant object and then we look at the near object, the most important thing which occurs is accommodation reflex. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
Yes,
We are
sir.
able to see near object clearly because of accommodation reflex. But when we are seeing at the near object not only accommodation reflex occurs, there are two other changes which also occur. Convergence of visual axis. Because the near object is in the center, both the eyes will turn towards the center. Am I right or wrong? Both the eyes will turn towards the center. You can see the person looking at the distant object, the person looking at the near object. You can see the direction of the eyes here. Here the direction is here. Isn't it? Clear?
Yes.
So conversion of visual axis यानी both the eyes are coming towards the center. Second thing, you will see the pupil size is changed. Here the light is to be collected from distant object. So slight opening will be there. Pupil will be large. Because the light is to be collected from the near object, you require less opening. So the pupil will become small here. Pupillary constriction. Okay. Third thing is lens will become thick. Accommodation reflex. So these are the three changes which occur when you are looking at the near object. Any confusion here?
Clear, doctor.
Okay, for your exam, whether you have understood or not, please remember one thing. Whenever you are looking at the near object, the response given by the eye consists of three things. Number one, accommodation reflex. Number two, convergence of visual axis. Number three, pupillary constriction. Okay, so three things occur when you are looking at the near object. Please remember this for your exam. Okay. Now here are a couple of clinical slides which you need to remember. We have some terminologies here. A normal eye without any problem with the optics. Optics यानी ability of the light to be transferred. So it is talking about cornea and lens mainly. Optics. Okay. So optics of camera we say similar here. The lens we are talking about, the ability to cause bending or refraction. Okay. So when there is no problem in the optics of vision, we say the eye is emmetropic. Okay. When there is a problem in which the person is able to see near object clearly but cannot see far object, it is called as myopia. Okay. The person is able to see near object but not able to see far object. This is called as myopia. Please remember this for your exam. Person able to see near things, yani near sightedness, but cannot see or has difficulty seeing far things. So he can read from textbook, but cannot read from the board in the classroom. Okay? Blackboard in the classroom, he is not able to read. This is called as myopia. This is again genetic. Here, usually what happens is the eyeball structure in some people genetically is a bit longer than normal. So, light which is falling here is not falling on the fovea centrality, it is falling in front of the retina. Okay, because the eye is too much long as compared to the power of the uh, cornea and lens. Okay. So for this, what we do is we put concave lens. Concave lens will look like this. Okay. Concave lens will look like this. So when you put this, you are increasing the direction here. So now it will focus better directly on the retina. Okay. So this way, you see most of us, many of us in our classroom are wearing glasses. So some are concave lens because genetically this is normal variation. We have some people will have myopia. Okay, so therefore they will be wearing this glass, concave lens. Okay. For your exam, simple thing to remember, the person is able to see near thing but cannot see far things clearly. This is called as myopia. Number one thing to remember. Okay. Person can see near thing clearly, cannot see far thing clearly. This is myopia or nearsightedness. It is due to eye is too long or lens too strong. So some physical deformity in the lens or the shape of the eye is elongated. So that is the cause. What is the treatment? Concave lens. This is what you have to remember for your exam. Next is hyperopia or hypermetropia. Here, the person is able to see distant object clearly, but cannot see near object clearly. Yani he can read what is written on the blackboard, but when it is the same thing shown on the laptop or textbook, he is not able to read. Okay. So better far vision and abnormal or decreased near vision. This may occur again genetically because of eyeball being too short. The distance is less than normal. This is too short for the lens. So the image is forming behind the retina, not on retina. Okay. So you will correct it by convex lens, by increasing the power of the lens by adding one more lens here. So spherical lens or convex lens here. Okay. That is added. Clear? Again for your exam, things you have to remember for this is hyperopia यानी far vision is better and near vision is decreased. Second thing, it occurs due to short eyeball or weak lens. Third thing, hyperopia is corrected by convex lens. So 3 points for myopia, 3 points for hyperopia you have to remember. Okay. Next point. The next two you have to remember only the definition. Astigmatism is a condition where the cornea shape is not perfectly curved in all direction. In one of the direction, it may be damaged. This occurs due to a condition called as pterygium. Okay. What is pterygium? You will learn in pathology later on. For now, remember, astigmatism is nothing but uneven curvature of cornea that will cause multiple points on retina where light is falling. Okay. So that will also cause blurring of vision. Last one you already know, cataract. Okay. Okay, so this finishes the major part of our lecture. Do you want break?
Doctor, sorry, can you hear me?
Sorry, please repeat.
Can you please repeat the point you mentioned about astigmatism?
Astigmatism.
Yes, astigmatism.
Okay, astigmatism is a disease of cornea, not of lens, but cornea. The cornea is not perfectly smooth shape. The curve is not perfectly smooth. It is bent in one direction somewhere like this. Okay. I cannot draw with the mouse actually. So I'm not able to do that. But remember, the curvature of the cornea is not normal. Any disease which causes abnormal curvature of cornea, it is called as astigmatism. Any disease. So one example which I remembered was pterygium. Have you heard of pterygium? Anybody? Have you heard of pterygium?
No.
You have not heard, but you
yes,
might have.
doctor.
You have
It's
heard.
a connective tissue in the cornea.
Yes. You see, in some time, what happens is the medial part of the eye, there is a fibrous tissue growing. If you see, our cornea should look perfectly normal like this, isn't it? So that tissue will grow over the cornea. So some people will have opaque objects on the cornea. That is called as pterygium. Actually, it is a fibrous tissue growing over the cornea and that causes pulling of cornea. Fibrous tissues are pulling. They will pull the cornea. That will change the shape of the cornea. Whenever the curvature of cornea is disturbed, it will not focus the light properly on the retina. That is called as astigmatism. For your exam, astigmatism is abnormal or uneven curvature or shape of cornea. Clear?
Here, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys want break? Or
Yes.
shall I
Yes,
continue?
doctor.
We have finished takriban half or more than half of the lecture.
Yes.
Yes.
Of
Yes,
the
we
three
can have
lectures,
a
we have
10
finished
minute
one
break.
and one and a half takriban.
Let's
You want
break.
break or continue?
Yes, 10 minutes break, yeah.